People often mock what they can't. Grasp you were quiet, measured someone who never looked like. A danger they whispered behind your back, dismissing the strength hidden. Within those steady eyes they confused. Restraint for weakness mistook silence for surrender, but that's the curse of pride. It blinds even the clever to the force. Waiting in shadows you watched, you waited, and when the moment came you struck. Now the laughter has faded, replaced by a fear they never thought they'd taste their falling, and all because they never saw you arrive. The first strike was a thunderclap, the ground quaked beneath them, and their smug certainty began to fracture. They thought they owned. You thought they had you caged tight, but power is built on illusions, and you shattered theirs. Every silent move, every unspoken glance was part of a scheme they could never imagine. Watching shock curdle into dread, seeing their flawless mask split apart, it was a spectacle. Unraveling, you gave them a stage they never envisioned, a turn in the story that has left them clawing for control. Misjudging you became their downfall. They trained for wars they understood, against foes they recognized, but you became something untamable, something beyond their reach or grip. Your might wasn't noisy or boastful, it was quiet, relentless, unyielding, and when you finally released it, they had no shield, no script, no hope against the onslaught. The game has reversed, and now they're running out of chances, out of time. The triumph they were certain of has turned to dust in their grasp. Their kingdom is collapsing. The throne they built on the myth of their greatness is splintering stone by stone. Every strength they thought was theirs, every ally, every weapon is slipping away. It's poetic, really, watching them stumble, feeling their terror rise. The hunter has become the hunted, and there's nowhere left to run. The dread is heavy now, thick in the air, and they're choking on. Power was their sanctuary, but now it's their cage, and you hold the key. You played the end game, and you played it with precision. Patience is a blade one few know how to master. You let them boast, let them gloat, let them misjudge you, because you knew that the sweetest conquests are the ones that arrive when no one expects them. Now every step you take is proof of their miscalculation. Every move you make sends tremors through the ruins of their failing power. They thought you were nothing, forgettable, but the rules have changed, and you're the one orchestrating the chaos now. Their trembling is your music, and it plays with flawless rhythm. Every frantic glance, every broken whisper becomes a note in the symphony you control. They're tormented by the truth. Power is gone from their hands, slipping like sand through clenched fists. They misjudged you, and now every breath they take is a payment for that mistake. Time itself reminds them of their blindness, each passing moment a mirror of defeat. You were never weak, never powerless. You were patient, biding, waiting, letting them destroy themselves piece by piece. They never learned the lesson that true power is not in the roar, but in the silence before the strike. Power hides in stillness, thrives in shadows, waits with intent. You used their arrogance as a weapon, turned it back against them, and now as their fortress collapses, they watch helplessly. The prey has become the predator, and their panic feeds you. Their downfall is the echo of their pride. They thought they were untouchable, thought victory was written, but arrogance always leaves scars, and now they bleed from it. Watching them scramble for fragments of control, watching their empire crumble stone by stone, you see the beauty in their undoing. They believed you played their game, but every step was yours, every rule written by your hand. And in this tale, their role is already chosen. The defeated, the forgotten, the blind who never saw the storm until it devoured them whole. Victory doesn't always come with crowns or trumpets. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the hollow of shattered egos, in the silence of those who doubted you, choking on their regret. It's in the wide-eyed disbelief, in the trembling hands trying to grasp a world slipping through their fingers. Chaos now sings their requiem, dismantling everything they thought unbreakable. Their arrogance was their seed of destruction, and now they lie buried in the ruins of their own making. They never had a chance, not against the fire they mocked, the storm they ignored, the force they dismissed as nothing. Beneath the masks we wear, there's a battlefield hidden from the eye. Pain walks beside us, whispering truths no one dares to hear, wrapping its cold grip around the soul. Some scream their agony, raw and loud. Others bleed in silence, hiding torment behind smiles, laughter, and unshaken calm. These silent carriers are the fiercest warriors, bearing invisible scars no eye can trace. Irony twists itself here. The most broken often stand the strongest. Pain carves deeper than flesh, reshaping spirit, molding resilience. Yet the world commands us to conceal, to bury the ache, to clothe wounds in masks. Every soul you meet is carrying a war unseen, bleeding in ways no bandage can cover. And the cruelty lies in how easily we dismiss it, how often strength is mistaken for ease, and torment for weakness. We shatter, it's a cruel ritual, this mask of pretending those who wear it best are seen as unyielding, yet inside they fight battles that would annihilate most souls. The truth about hidden agony is that it festers, rotting the spirit until it has no choice but to erupt. Outward, those who bury their torment learn to channel it, sharpen it, twist it into fuel. The world misjudges these souls, the ones who laugh through sorrow, who smile while carrying the weight of 1,000 silent screams, but each stifled cry, each wordless wail is strength biding its time until it surges forth, until that buried pain becomes an unstoppable storm. A reckoning, kindness should be natural, yet it rarely is. Society is too quick to dismiss, too eager to brand those who show fragility as frail, and those who conceal it as cold. But suffering spares no one, it clutches all, eventually reshaping them in ways that cannot be undone. The gentlest hearts, those who once loved with purity and cared without limit, are the ones who change most deeply. Sorrow is a merciless teacher, and its survivors become something else entirely, hardened, darker, capable of unimaginable acts. Never assume you know someone's limits because they smile. Pain is the sharpest fire, it forges people into weapons they never imagined they could become. A heart scarred in silence too long can cut deeper than any blade, while others roar their defiance. The broken train in quiet shadows, sharpening rage, forged in secrecy, stronger with each breath, each hushed vow of vengeance. They are the hidden storm, the ones who strike hardest when the world least anticipates it. The quiet souls, the ones who look harmless, often conceal the deadliest tempests. Society underestimates them, confusing silence for surrender, stillness for weakness, but calm waters conceal depths filled with sorrow and restrained fury. It is fatal to dismiss someone just because they cloak their anguish well. Those who endure silently carry the truest strength. They have walked through their own abyss and returned forged, unyielding, relentless. They are not slaves to pain, they are its masters. Suffering, when harnessed, becomes a force unlike any other, raw, untamed, and consuming those who shape it into something deadly. Are unbreakable, the world never anticipates the silent ones, the overlooked souls, hardened by life's cruelest storms. Their vengeance is never chaotic, it is measured, calculated, and terrifying, for they know the edge of ruin. They know what it is to be abandoned, to be broken. And when they rise with intent that nothing can deter. Life has a habit of shattering the kindest spirits, yet in the breaking something dangerous and magnificent is forged. People begin to shield their hearts, to grow teeth and talons where once there was only tenderness. The overlooked ones, the ones dismissed as harmless, become hunters. They move through existence differently, eyes keen, minds keener, fueled by the scars they've carried for too long. And when they finally unleash their real strength, it is always a shock. The world freezes in awe, never imagining the silent ones to be so ruthless. Every insult, every betrayal, every time someone's pain was ignored, it all piles up. It turns into a burden. They master how to carry an energy. They master how to reshape people. Misjudge the broken, forgetting that healing isn't always about becoming gentle. Again, sometimes it's about becoming razor-edged, about learning to turn pain into a weapon. The righteous need no commandments to live with honor, while the corrupt will twist every rule to survive. Rules and laws are created to keep humanity from falling into madness, yet they remain fragile illusions, a desperate shield against the darkness that hides in human instinct. The honorable, those who have truth carved into their marrow, act rightly, not because they fear punishment, but because of the compass within that steers them. Their virtue is a stronghold built on principles, on the whisperings of a soul that asks for no outside approval. For them rules are pointless, a surface ritual that never reaches the depths of who they are. But others, the sly ones, treat rules as mere hurdles to be twisted, bent. Shattered villains never see boundaries as limits, they see opportunities. Every law is a puzzle to them, a challenge to conquer, a wall to climb where the just see barriers. The wicked see doors, there's a thrill in mocking the system, a rush of dominance. In outwitting the guardians of decency, they step around the chains, forged to protect society, laughing at the foolish faith that ink on paper can cage them, and with each new code comes a new escape, a path out, a way to win. For them, the hunt never ends. The earth crawls with these law benders in disguise, cloaked demons who corrupt every order in play they wear. Silks and ties, wield pens or hide behind polished grins, turning justice into a joke. They flourish in shadows, slipping through the cracks of order, finding exits, abusing weaknesses, and while the righteous rest, believing in the safety of balance, the rule breakers plot always 10 steps further. The law is their arena, and they twist it for their game, knowing that the enforcers are always a shade too slow, a beat too trusting. Laws are prisons for the wicked and weapons for the noble. The corrupt easily slip through the bars, ripping apart the fabric of order. For their hunger they cling to nothing but their greed, and for them virtue is just another lock to be broken. The good depend on rules to keep the beasts away, but the beasts have mastered wearing sheeps. Society clings to the illusion of order, yet in the shadows the clever ones are already dismantling the fragile pillars of justice. True goodness shines without permission, without boundaries, but darkness thrives within rules. It delights in shattering them. The law becomes nothing more than a stage for the corrupt, a puzzle mean to be tricked and twisted. They savor the proof that rules are weak, that safety itself can be reduced to a mere hindrance. Predators walking among the blind, they are evidence that no chain can hold a relentless will. Their chaos is not wild but deliberate, a sinister design, mockery of all that is called justice. Responsibility for the good is a vow silently sworn, upheld without display. But the corrupt, the ones who treat life as a game, know no such weight. Their hearts are empty, their conscience that they seize, they bend and they grin as they destroy. Their darkness never rests, and no law is enough to halt them. While the righteous act through duty, the wicked move by craving, consumed with a hunger for chaos, for power, for more. The earth itself becomes an arena for those who honor rules unspoken and those who spit on their very existence. For the virtuous, rules are born from within, steady and rooted, but for the corrupted, rules are mere shadows, warped and discarded. They thrive in loopholes, in false faces, always advancing, mocking the dream that justice could ever truly bind them. Laws become a ballroom, and the vile take the lead, circling those still clinging to fairness. Yet the irony burns. Laws were never built for the pure-hearted. They were shackles forged for liars, deceivers, the monsters who walk disguised. And yet those who most need the chains are always the first to break them. The truly just live untethered, bound by no threats, needing no fear of punishment. They walk with quiet dignity, with honor, their grace, in stark defiance of schemers who laugh at restraint. And while the innocent rest with calm hearts, the dark-minded weave plots, sharpening their paths to victory. But the wicked miscalculate. They fail to see the strength in those who obeyed the rules long enough to master the game. When the righteous awaken to the lie, when they grasp the cruel rhythm of deception, everything changes. They are no longer innocent, no longer pawns trapped within a crooked stage. They rise, a force unbroken, a reckoning to be feared. The deceiver becomes the deceived. The predator becomes the prey. Gratitude for pain seems cruel, almost insane. Why thank the very wounds that scarred you, the trials that nearly ended you, the betrayals that left you bleeding? Yet in suffering lies the secret fire, the lesson hidden inside agony, the silent gift. Hardship is the furnace, the crucible where strength is forged and truth revealed through struggle. It speaks not in comfort, but in the harsh tongue of trials and wounds. And if you pay attention, the truths are priceless. They reveal your essence when stripped of ease, how relentless you can be when survival is the only weapon. Failures are hidden blessings, forcing you to evolve, to sharpen your vision, to awaken reservoirs of strength you never believed were there. A path too easy teaches nothing, but a road of thorns awakens a sharpness you never imagined. Those who float through life untested remain fragile, ignorant of their weakness. But you've fallen, you've bled, you've been scarred, yet every wound made you sharper, more dangerous, more untamed. Gratitude for loss is not blind. It's the clarity that every setback made you wiser, made you hungrier for the triumph you now demand. Even enemies, the shadows in your story carry purpose. They are the adversaries, the sparks that ignite change. Without them your rise would stumble, your fire would stay hidden. They are the storm that summons your inner flame, the chaos that strengthens your foundation. To face deceivers, traitors, and manipulators is not a curse but a trial. It hones your instincts, teaches you the tactics of survival in a world ruled by deceit. Be grateful for them for the way they pushed you to grow ruthless, to abandon softness and unleash the fighter inside. Hardship and cruelty are teachers, unwanted yet essential. They drag you to the edge, make you confront your endurance, your very soul. But on that edge you uncover something terrible and beautiful, your unyielding refusal to break. Each wound, each betrayal, each insult became fuel in your fire. While others collapsed, you adapted, you grew untamed, resilient. There's a villain's delight in the way you rise before those who tried to end you, because you know the monster they forged will never again be under their chains. Mastery of peace is not the absence of battle, it is the knowing that peace is earned, carved through struggle, even in your own heart. Hardship is not your foe but your guide, learning to walk with suffering to thrive. In chaos is the line that separates strength from weakness. The ones who only knew comfort shatter at war, but you, hardened by storms, have learned to find calm in disaster, to see clearly while others fear. The craft of peace carries violence, a paradox understood only by those tempered by fire. Trials and barriers are lessons in patience. They teach you to wait with intent, to strike with precision, to value the long war. The untested know nothing of this, they act in haste, predictable and blind. But the one who endured, who tasted loss and humiliation, learns the beauty of stillness, the power of quiet waiting. You owe your mastery to those hours of pain, to the moments when hope seemed dead. Every defeat a hidden map, a manual for the road to final triumph. Struggle forges warriors, not victims. Fragility is a comfort of the sheltered, of those who never had to crawl through shadows to rise again. You have walked there, confronted monsters, wrestled the voices that tore at your soul, and every time you emerged sharper, more merciless. Less merciful betrayers who thought their treachery would shatter you only made your shield stronger. You display your scars as medals, each one proof that survival is its own craft, a craft you've perfected with a villain's elegance and a fighter's spirit. Cruelty and chaos have handed you something beyond value, clarity. You see reality for what it is, not the illusion that blinds the innocent. You know that nothing is granted, everything must be seized, fought for. One, the innocence you once carried has burned away, replaced with an iron will. This is the discipline of peace, the wisdom that pain is part of the rhythm, that setbacks are openings, that foes are mentors. Those untouched by night can never grasp this, but you've endured it, embraced it, and risen unbreakable because of it.